there are so many reasons why I got into teaching.
One of the best things is the light bulb moment.
When you see a pupil suddenly understand something, that's really, really special.
Every child is so full of potential, and the thing that makes me proudest to be a teacher is seeing them realise what they are capable of.
I don't think any other job can give you the same satisfaction.
That's why I chose to teach.
You could get £26,000 tax-free to train. Search, apply to teach. Selected subjects only, subject to eligibility.
Ladies and gentlemen. Podcasting since 2005. You were listening to Gamer Tag Radio with your hosts Godfrey, Pete Rock, Paris, Pasta. Come on.
Welcome to Gamer Tag Radio, episode 550. This is your host, Danny, a.k.a. Godfrey, and joining us this week, let's go with Pete. Pete, what's up?
What's up? I'm here. I got my recorder. It's on. It's plugged in. I got power. I'm just going to get rid of that whole stimulus there out of the way. What's up?
See, people don't know the stuff that happens behind the scenes.
But it's okay because Paris makes sure that he lets them know on Twitter. So,
yeah. Speaking of Paris, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you for having me back. Apparently, I was missed. I was listening to the episode that you guys did without me, and it was a little trash talk there towards the end, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right.
Wow. Wait. Trash talk from all of us or just Pete?
Mainly Pete, but you were kind of in there a little bit too.
I had to, man. When you're not here, we got to take advantage of that, man. When I'm not recording, you guys talk trash about me all the time. And also, we have Patrick here. Patrick.
What's up, Danny? How you doing?
Yeah, were you talking trash about Paris too?
No, I think I was missing Paris. I miss when we have our Paris dynamic to the conversation. Otherwise, it's like we steer off course, and then Paris has to come on the next episode.
Yeah, so
hey guys, come on.
So what happens is when I'm not on, I listen in my car when I'm driving to work, right? And I'm yelling at the thing because, I want to interject, but I can't. So then I go on Twitter and I start interjecting on Twitter, and then people get mad at me because I say stuff they don't like. This is how it works.
Why is that always happens? People attack Paris right away. ASAP. Is it because they just are not happy with your opinion?
Yeah, well, they're not happy with my opinion about the division. That's for damn sure. People just mad today. I mean, hell, even unnamed Ubisoft employee messing with me on Twitter. Jesus, I didn't even say a word to him. He's just attacking me.
Yeah.
What was the word? It was. Are you going to give it an 8 as in hate?
Yeah, he said my review score is going to be an 8 as in hate because I'm a hater.
That was a good one. Man. Oh, man. All right, head over to gamertagradio.com. Put your comments and feedback and spread the word. Subscribe, share it. Share with your friends. You can find us not only on our website, but also play.it/gamertag or go to iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, or TuneIn Radio. You find us also over there. And post your review if you can. If you want to, you can send us email, fanmail@gamertagradio.com. That's fanmail@gamertagradio.com. Or give us a call, 786-273-7GTR. Also, whenever you get the chance, help us out. It will make the podcast even better. Go to take this very short survey, playitsurvey.com. That's playitsurvey.com. And help GTR.
This is Gamer Tag Radio. Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
This episode, we have a big interview with Rich Taylor. He's the Senior VP at the Entertainment Software Association. We're going to be talking about E3 2016. Patrick, we have some pretty good questions about this whole E3 stuff, man. Lots of changes this year.
A lot we want to know about. What's the future looking like? What's this year looking like? I mean, I'm pumped for it, but a lot of things to talk about for sure. Looking forward to our conversation with Rich later in the show.
Can you ask this question for me since I won't be able to attend said interview? Can you ask this question?
Yes. What's the question?
Ask him, what will the God, I can't even say it. The ESA, what will they do if Microsoft or Sony pulls out? Because if you really think about it, Sony is probably the one that would do it first because they already have PlayStation experience. They could easily move PlayStation experience up to the summer and just keep doing the same thing, right? So if they were to leave, is that the end of E3? Because I think it is.
Okay, we'll ask that question. Patrick, save that question.
Writing it down as we speak.
All right, here you go. Wasn't there like a big news today, guys? Because I honestly,
I know what you're talking about, but can I read this tweet which leads us right into the discussion of this?
Sure, go for it.
Mr. Zen sent us a tweet literally just now saying the Xbox cross-play news is amazing, but is it a strategy or a desperate move? I personally, it's a great tweet because that is actually a compelling question. I don't think it's a desperate move. I think what Microsoft, again, if they're doing this whole thing with the Windows 10, the PC, everything's open platform, if that's the direction they're trying to go, the last gate was Xbox Live and allowing, because they've been the bottleneck when it comes to that. Sony has somewhat said in the past they'd be open to it. And we obviously know on the PC side, they're going to be open to it. But in other words, it's up to the developer if they want to do it. So Microsoft has always treated Xbox Live as a closed platform, a closed system. So if they're opening it up and saying, developers, knock yourselves out, then this is a good thing for gaming, period. It could create some new issues, on the gameplay side. But I think overall, the fact that it's allowing developers to do what they want to do across platforms is great for all of us, in my opinion.
Well, I think this is a great idea, too, especially for forget about the third party companies, but especially indie games. I think this will be a great way for other indie companies to sell their games even more. And, for other platforms like Xbox or PC or PlayStation 4, and the community is going to grow like online wise, online gaming wise. So I think this is a great move for Microsoft, So I don't see this as a desperate move.
Let's explain this first, though, to those that may not be 100% plugged into what we're talking about.
Okay, go for it.
We didn't really bring it up, but Microsoft announced today that they're going to allow Xbox gamers to play against PlayStation and PC players. So it's something that they're calling cross-network play. It's something they tried to do early on with, I believe, Shadowrun between the Xbox and the Games for Windows attempt from Microsoft to bring out an online ethos or ecosystem for PC gaming. But now they're saying, because of the leaps that they've done in just cross network, from PlayStation to Xbox and PC, now they're saying that they are very, very open to getting that done soon, but it's still going to rely on PlayStation and PC gamers, or the PlayStation, or would it be, I guess, primarily Steam or Origin or any of the other ones to work with Microsoft to say, okay, well, this is how we're going to get it done. So
I would hope that EA would be more forthcoming than Steam, because Steam typically probably be reserved about this because they have a great thing going. Why would they want to mess it up for themselves? I think it'd be a good idea regardless. But if I was EA, I would definitely push Origin as be like the first guy to say, hey, we're up for this program. We'd love to have our consumers be able to play their EA games between multiple platforms at the same time. So, yeah, I'll definitely, if I was EA, that's what I would do.
I mean, does people find this a bad thing? I mean, I don't.
Yes.
The fanboys, yeah, they're still out there. Smaller number than they used to be. But yeah, that's always going to be there. People have that sense of ownership of a brand. It's very important to them. But, it's 2016. Things have moved past that, I feel. We're moving towards that universal platform we all talk about.
I mean, please, someone explain to me why this is a bad thing.
Here's why, because this has been the conversation on Twitter. The example being made was like a first-person shooter. I'll just say Call of Duty, for example. So Call of Duty, if you're playing it on the Xbox or the PlayStation, you're obviously using the controller. Well, PC gamers, they're going to bring keyboard and mouse to the game, to the match, and they're going to own the match. It's just a fact. There's no way around that. Keyboard and mouse is superior to a controller every time. So I saw people on Twitter just complaining about that PC gamers will have an unfair advantage going against console gamers in a first person shooter multiplayer. But honestly, the way to combat that is just to gate it off. Don't go. You have matches that are console only. You have matches that are PC only. You have matches that combine all of them. You get to choose what you want to go play in. If you're dumb enough to have a controller in your hand and go into a match with a PC gamer, don't get mad when you get shot 100 times or you get sniped across the map every time. It's just what's going to happen.
I guess the counter to that would be like, well, there's no more modded controller as the argument right now. Oh, well, you're a PC player, blah.
Basically,
that's all.
Yeah.
That'll be an excuse. But it's like Peter said, you either have to do that or you can't really do it at all. People are going to complain regardless. Now, obviously, if you're making like a cooperatively heavily game, like a Borderlands-esque kind of game, this is no issue at all. And if anything, it's a better thing because more people to play with. You don't have to buy a system to play one game with your friends. But yeah, competitive FPS, people always complain about everything regardless. That's just the nature of the genre. So what's one more thing? And again, if we could just separate it into you pick what you want to play against, it's your funeral, either way. So why not? I'm on board with it.
The other issue, and we kind of touched on this 2 episodes ago, I think you and I were talking about this a little bit, Pete. PC gamers would have an advantage again, the ones that have the superior hardware, because they'd probably have higher frame rate, things like that. So in this scenario, PlayStation versus Xbox, I think it's fine. It's pretty much an even playing field. But when you bring PC into it, in competitive multiplayer, you're going to see discrepancies. You just are. But let's take a game like The Division, for example. I think it wouldn't matter as much. And if anything, it's just expanding the player base. So you're having a combination of Xbox, PlayStation, and PC gamers all battling out in the dark zone, for example. So, it would be a good thing in those type of games. But something competitive like a Twitch shooter, what's the one Cliffy B's about to come out with? Lawbreakers or something like that? Isn't that what it's called? Anyways, you get my point. Yeah. Those type of games, Unreal Tournament, all of the Quake, all those old type of
MOBA type games.
Yeah, MOBA games. No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work if you have it a free for all for all platforms at once. You're going to have to gate it on some level.
It's weird. I think it's awkward that you almost cut the line at first person versus third person, whereas third person.
I'd say it's more the line is the RPG versus like one shot, one kill mechanics. Because again, it's if a Counter-Strike level of difficulty, it'd be like, you'd be shot with a sniper rifle from across the map. It's going to kill you every time. Reflexes always win. So it doesn't matter how good you are, how much knowledge you have. It's always going to be the faster reflexes are going to come out on top. So thankfully, Division doesn't have that problem. So I'd love to see that implemented because I already have this problem. I have friends that want me to go ahead and buy the PC version and play with them, but I put so much time, like over 25 hours in the Xbox version already, and I'm addicted to it. So it's like you have to restart over again. The same problem we've had with Destiny in the past. That's just the nature of these MMO games. So yeah, I would love the community to be all combined. Possibly.
And you have to also add in this factor as well, and this is more of a developer issue. How do they determine in a multiplayer match when to have aim assist on, when to have it off, etc.? So again, a console gamer going into a PC, into a PC multiplayer match, they're not going to have aim assist, most likely, right? So they're even at a bigger disadvantage. Or you do the opposite, and a PC gamer has aim assist, or as soon as you spawn in, you're dead.
That's not even fair.
Yeah.
That's like full-time bullet time in a first-person shooter.
Oh god, that would be terrible. I would hopefully the controller would have it on by default, and you just go, because a lot of Xbox or PlayStation games already have this as a defaulted setting, and you go in and turn it off if you want a higher difficulty setting. It should just be on by default in multiplayer. And if you are that adventurous or brave or just want to test your luck, if you will, then definitely that should be a setting you turn on and off at any time.
Well, they say that one of the first games that they're going to be, the first title is going to be supporting this, Rocket League, which makes sense in a way. But here's the thing, Microsoft mentioned that, and they have this open invitation for like other networks to also be part of this. So we haven't heard anything from Sony if this is like official now. So right now, Microsoft is just talking about it, but they can't make this happen without Sony. So,
but you can't.
Your thoughts about that?
You can't just throw Sony's name out there like that. It's not just them. It's
like
I mentioned earlier.
the console.
It's not just Sony. It's Origin. It's whatever, Ubisoft's, God, I can't even think of what Ubisoft's Uplay is.
Uplay.
Steam.
Uplay, yeah.
It's every other iteration of gaming out there that has to have.
But
its
see,
input.
PC they could do it. That's like no issue. Like I don't see them saying no. But here's the thing: other consoles like Sony,
Hell,
are
even
they gonna
Nintendo
do it.
I don't think they're even in the conversation. To be honest. They would never do this.
I just don't see it from Nintendo.
They're so protective of their online community as is. They want to keep them safe.
What online community?
It exists. Trust me, it's small people, but it's out there, and they want to keep all of the hatred and toxicity that
in the bottom of the closet
exists.
of online people.
But have you tried it, P? Have you ever tried the online part from Nintendo? Have you tried a Wii U online, or have you?
I'd have to have a Wii. The closest thing to Nintendo I have on my person is a Star Fox sticker on my MacBook.
I'm telling you, it's the online. I mean, it's not like PlayStation or Xbox, but is pretty decent for that console.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest, but
for the first party
good.
games, it works great. For your Mario Karts and your Splatoons, it's a very well put together online system. Even Smash Brothers isn't that bad for online.
Yeah.
It's there for the people who love to play those games and probably don't have an Xbox or PlayStation. And if they do, they enjoy both services. But again, Nintendo would never be on board with this. This is just not fit their MO.
I can imagine the hate
or their plans
for all those anti-Nintendo comments I just threw out. It's gonna be great.
it happens all the time. No, but seriously, I just don't. I don't know, man. Like I know Sony mentioned this in the past that they might do this, but I don't know. We'll see. I hope it works out. That would be awesome to play with you guys. I'm Xbox and other people playing on PlayStation 4. Now the thing is, how would I know that? Let's say I'm playing on Xbox and P, you're in a PlayStation 4 Rocket League. How do I know that we're in a different console? How that works?
I don't think it makes a difference at that point. It's just a game instance. It shouldn't make a difference whether you're on a PlayStation.
You may have a tag on your username just designating which platform you're from, but that's about it.
Maybe, but like Paris said, it's going to have some kind of a gate that says, okay, if you're picking the lobbies that you want to be available to pick. If you want to be just Xbox only, or if console only, or all of the above. Mm-hmm. Like, give me everything. You know what I mean? That's the safest bet, just to protect gamers for their experiences. Because like Poston and Paris have said, the last thing a first-person shooter player wants to do is go from an Xbox or a PlayStation and try to go into a lobby with mostly PC players. It's like a football player. It's like a professional football player picking on Little League. It's not fair.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of multiplayer and just competitive gaming and all that and versus, let's talk about Loot Crate.
Loot Crate!
Their theme this month is versus, which is things like Call of Duty versus Halo, PlayStation versus Nintendo, Mario versus Metroid, Pete versus Destiny, because I heard all that negative Destiny talk on the podcast last
Bring it.
episode.
or Paris, Daredevil, Punisher, season 2 of Daredevil. Just a little plug. That's it. That's what I have to say.
What was the point of that, really? I love how he comes in to say Daredevil versus Punisher. Okay, poof, I'm out. But anyways, Loot Crate is a monthly subscription box service for epic geek and gamer items and pop culture gear. For less than $20 a month, you can get 4 to 8 items that include licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, and unique one-of-a-kind items and more. You have until the 19th of this month at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate. When the cutoff happens, that's it. It's over. You need to wait till the next month. Make sure to head over to lootcrate.com/gamertag and use our code gamertag to save $3 on any new subscription. Remember, folks, Loot Crate is like a friend who knows what you love and surprises you with an awesome present every month. They ship to over 27 countries with more info on the site. Loot Crate is more than just a subscription service. It's an entire community of fans that share their experience and interact with each other around the globe, unboxing each month's crates. Pete, you've used this in the past, right?
Yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff. Love my Nightwing stuff. There was a Nightwing thing one day, and I got it. Got a dope shirt, mug. Got a keychain I gave to my daughter because she's a big fangirl of anything Nightwing. Dope stuff. Definitely pick it up.
Nice. All right. Well, again, Loot Crate. Go to lootcrate.com/gamertag and remember to use our code gamertag.
All right. Shout out to Loot Crate. All right, Pawson, you ready for our interview with Rich?
I am. Let's get into it. I got some good questions to ask.
Ooh, all about E3 2016. So we're going to play it right now, and we'll be right back after this.
This is a Gamertag Radio exclusive.
Well, today we have Rich Taylor. He is the Senior Vice President for ESA. Of course, for those that don't know, they also handle E3. Been going now to E3 over 10 years now. It's going to be our 11th year going, so I'm pretty excited about this year's event. Rich, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Nice to talk to you guys.
Yeah, man. Rich, so tell us what's going on, man. Lots of things been going on behind the scenes with E3 this year.
Yeah, that's the beauty of E3. I mean, it's sort of a big Christmas tree with a lot of presents underneath it that are wrapped, and I don't even know what's in those boxes until they're open, and they get opened by the different publishers and exhibitors throughout that week. And so, I know we're seeing a lot of energy here in the virtual reality space. You're seeing a lot of excitement from a lot of the big name publishers. Some of the smaller ones are also seem very excited about what they have to show. So, E3 will be what it has been for many years now, which is the centerpiece of the entertainment universe for that week in Los Angeles. And, what happens there will be heard and felt and appreciated and enjoyed and gobbled up by people all around the globe. It's really a global phenomenon what happens at E3.
Yeah, I know that last year, I remember that was like maybe the first time in a very long time that companies were allowed to bring their fans to the event. I know Microsoft had tickets and they gave away to their to the hardcore fans and I believe other companies too. Why the change? Why it took so long to make that change finally for E3? Because I feel that that this event is pretty big, and I think it's great to see the gamers there at the event. So.
Yeah, no, I mean there was every year as soon as E3 ends, we talk to all the members of the ESA, we talk to all the exhibitors, we talk to all the attendees, retailers, media, analysts, you name it. And we really try and find out from them what it is about the show they like, what could be improved, what would enhance it. And some of the feedback we received going into last year's show was that, it'd be nice to inject, some of these more, rabid and passionate fans into the show experience. And, increasingly in this time of connectivity and social media, the voice and opinions of trusted gamers have a real resonance around the globe. So it just made sense to have, a controlled number of folks, in the Los Angeles Convention Center and taking part in E3. It brought a lot of great energy to the show, and yet it did not, disrupt the show in such a way that, it couldn't function in a good way. What you have to remember is sort of the history of E3 was it did get very, very large at one point, 70,000 or so people and more. And what happened was people were having trouble even accessing the games to experience them, or even moving through the halls from one exhibitor to the next, or one hall to the next would take forever because of the numbers. What we didn't want to do was get in a situation where the balance tilted where it was no longer a quality experience for attendees. We wanted to have the quality, but also have some of that prosumer passion in the halls. I think we hit that balance.
Mm-hmm. And consumer passion is definitely really important because, I really got into this whole industry because of being an outside perspective, watching E3, reading about in the magazines back in the day, getting the excitement, dreaming one day I might get to go to it. And then once I finally did get to go to it, I was impressed by how efficient it was, the size of it. Like you said, there are a lot of people, but by the time I started going circa around 2008, 2009, it was structured in a way that was very accommodating, if you will, I think, to me and other people in our line of work. So my big question really is now we're going to 2016. A lot of things have changed. A lot of companies, particularly notably Electronic Arts, will not be present this year at E3. They will be having, they said, their EA Play event at the Club Nokia pretty much next door. How does that work for y'all for restructuring in terms of EA had that huge presence in the hall for the longest time? Are y'all going to do anything specifically with that space, or is that something y'all are still thinking about and working on until you get closer to EA itself, E3 itself?
Yeah, we'll be unveiling the show floor plans, in a not too distant future. Just suffice to say, E3 is a launching pad for games for exhibitors of all sizes and well-known names, lesser-known names. And, one luxury I have is that E3 is a place that people want to be. So, whereas there may be some who, for a variety of different reasons, are not on the floor of this particular edition of E3, no doubt there will be other creative forces in the hall sort of taking up that space as well.
And do you think the say like the smaller indie development scene, which has always had a presence at E3, do you think that's going to be larger than it has in the past?
Not necessarily. I haven't seen what there's sort of the Indiecade aspect. Is that what you're speaking about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've noticed the Indiecade every year that I've been there.
Yeah, which is fantastic, right? It's one of my favorite things to go through and take time and spend time with. I don't know what the final footprint and the final sort of occupancy of that will be. But, again, this is, you just look at this industry and it grows every year. It grows, among the large publishers. It grows around smaller developers and independent forces out there. So it's suffice to say it makes sense that may continue to populate more and more V3, that segment, because there's just more entries into that world, and we welcome that.
Yeah. Have you found that maybe this year compared to previous years, you're getting more interest from normally smaller companies that maybe wouldn't normally have a presence at E3? Have you had a better response, you think, this year than previous years?
I think E3 has just, it is such a unique phenomenon that I think every year it just becomes more of a sort of a centerpiece for everybody, and everyone wants to be there. Like, one of the things we do at ESA is we sponsor a college game competition, and schools of game design programs can submit one single game, so teams work together, and both the quantity of entries we get and the quality of those just goes up every year over year, every time we do it, to the point where you can't believe, in the outputs that are coming from these campuses. And the big draw of that is there's no huge cash prize or anything like that. The big draw is you get to come to E3 and show your game. Finalists get to come, and just being in that ecosystem and in that environment is something that everyone who has a passion for creating this form of entertainment, it really strives for. It's where you want to get, and so year over year that just increases and expands. And it doesn't surprise me there probably is more churn and buzz among both smaller independents and medium and large size as well.
Here's my question. I love E3. To me, I think it's great for the industry and everything. And after the years, there's been a lot of changes. I like how other conferences, they have like maybe 2 days for the media, and then eventually they have like a day or two for open to the public. A perfect example like Gamescom or PAX. It's more for the gamers. But I feel that I would like to see that in the future for E3, because I feel that if you keep it the same old way, I think it's gonna hurt E3 in my opinion. I'm a big fan, and I think by having it maybe the last day, having it open to the public, I think that will be a great way for E3 to even be more successful. Seeing all those gamers attending last year, because they got invited, it was like a very special moment for me, man, to see that, because I haven't seen that in a very long time. I wasn't there at E3 when it first opened,
right.
And I would like to see that more in the future, so.
Well, which goes back to something I said before, which is, we really do want to, create the structure of a show that is the best experience and the best, value and impact for the exhibitors at E3. And if that is something that, we start hearing strongly about, it's something that certainly will be, considered. Everything is on the table every time. We don't, start with the same show. We kind of rebuild it every year. And, we've got some good experience on what works and what doesn't, but we also know that things evolve and things change. And so, we increasingly, increase the presence of mobile at E3 over the years. The presence of international. This industry has really become a truly international industry, not just Japan, U.S., but all around the globe. presence of, developers, publishers, journalists, and retailers from around the world. It changes over the years and increases. You mentioned virtual reality, virtually non-existent, not only just in terms of a technology, but even in terms of just being an exhibit. That has grown exponentially over the past few years. I think we were from 27 exhibitors last year with virtual reality entertainment forums, and I have no doubt we'll have a similar number or larger this year. So, always asking ourselves, asking those who, participate in the show, what do you need and how can we make it better? And so nothing's off the table, but we're also not just going to make a decision blindly on our own because it just seems like a good idea. We want to make sure there's a real sense of that, the value that we're seeking.
Mm-hmm. And then another thing we forgot too is new media. There's podcasts, there's YouTubes, there's live streams now with Twitch. That wasn't around over 10 years ago.
Right.
So we're seeing more of that too, which is also something that by keeping it the old way and having old media, I feel that, it's good for that. There's going to be a crowd that's really into the old media stuff, but there's also a whole new crowd that's into, social media, YouTube and Twitch and podcasts, which also helps the industry too.
Yeah, you better believe it. And that's why, Twitch has been a strong presence at E3 the past couple of years, and it hits the bait and hope they'll be there again this year doing same. YouTube, same way. I mean, YouTube was branding almost all their page views for the E3 last year because they recognize the value of that brand and of that activity and writing that. We had I can't remember the exact number, but we had many of the top YouTube gamers in the game space attend E3 because, there's people want to hear what they have to say and want to know what they think about the game. So that's something that did not exist really 5 years ago in terms of priorities. And a perfect example, I'm glad you asked the question, it's a perfect example of how we adapt and seek to bring in those elements that are responsive and reactive and hopefully proactively moving towards what our consumers ultimately want to see and hear.
And so, Rich, what would you say the best format is, for those consumers that maybe feel like they don't have a voice at E3 right now? Maybe there's some things that they want to see changed for the better for the future of E3. Like, what's the best output for their commentary? What's the best way for them to reach you guys at the ESA to help make a better E3 moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think they can contact ESA. They can, we have the E3 Insider and our website up during E3. There's places where you can, comment on the activities going on, and you can, I wish I was there. How can we get there next? However you want to do it. We are aware that there's in the general public there's great interest in being a part of something like E3. That just has to match with the goals of the show. And like we were talking earlier, now there are these more prosumer public piece of E3 that wasn't there even a couple of years ago, and we'll be doing that again this year. So that there is some movement there, but we do like to know what people think too. So people shouldn't be shy about it, and we want them to be a part of the conversation.
Yeah, I know every time I'm at E3, I always go out of my way to try to see if I can find people that are in awe. Basically, the people that aren't jaded, aren't doing this every year as a job. The people that truly are amazed by the spectacle that is E3. And I noticed particularly a couple of years, when we had events into corresponding theaters, like for instance, one year that you all had the Super Smash Brothers tournament for Wii U, and you brought in the professional players, and I got a huge response from the Smash Brothers community. Do y'all have more things planned like that? Is that like going to be a regular thing for y'all? Because it seemed like that was a great transition, like Danny was saying, of we want to see more fans in E3, but it seems like maybe that was the best way initially to draw people in. Do y'all consider doing more events coinciding with E3 going down the road that fans are allowed to get into?
Well, those are things that are created and executed by individual publishers. Like ESA, we don't have anything.
But you give them permission to do that, correct? So they have to go through you, right?
Yeah, but when you see Nintendo and others coming up with ideas like that, and again, it all is connected. The common core of it all, the nucleus of all this is E3. So even, the executives this year, they're tapping in and around E3 for a reason. That's where all the eyes of the world are. So, Nintendo recognized that, had great success with the Super Smash Brothers event. And I think you'll see others, modeling off of that, trying to duplicate that. maybe some things in the esports arena might be coming down the way. Who knows? But that's up for the individual sort of people with the entertainment to put forth that can, that have the concept of, and then we of course work with them to help them execute that.
Now, is that a possible hint at maybe some ESL cooperation with the ESA? Have they approached you guys directly of wanting to be a bigger part of E3? Maybe have some like League of Legends or, Here's the Storm or other big game opening invitationals or tournaments corresponding with E3? Have the conversations ever come up?
Well, I mean, I don't want to get into what conversations we've had and haven't had with folks, but, but it's a big industry and there's a lot of interest across it and finding ways to be a part of E3 that makes sense. So, conversation makes sense. We have.
See, Rich is you're pretty good with this, man. With the whole interview, hard questions and stuff.
You guys are pretty good at asking them.
Yeah. Well, Rich, all right. My last question is, for those that are still wondering, like, man, is E3 dead? Like, just tell them what's going on. Final, for this year and the future of E3. The only way, in my opinion, for the ESA to make changes is the community just contact them, and also the publishers. We need everybody to get involved to make the changes in the future.
Yeah, let the publishers know. It's exactly right. No, it's great. I'm glad you asked it because it's funny, and maybe it's even a little bit louder of a conversation this time than in the past. But I promise you, every year I've had around this time of year, is E3 dead? Is E3 relevant? What's going to happen to E3 conversations around this time? And it's about 100 days out or so. It's about 90 or so out officially, but those are the kind of interviews I do a lot of. And the answer is always like, no, E3's fine. E3's great. And then E3 comes around and we have, the best show ever. And then we do that again. Like last year's show was phenomenal. If you ask anyone who attended, anyone who experienced it, anyone who exhibited at it, they really said this is one of the best E3 experiences ever. So not much has radically changed in the days since that last show. Yes, there's some exhibitors who have decided for each individual reason not to be a part of this tradition, but that's happened before as well. And E3 remains strong. We're going to keep adapting. We're going to keep evolving it to be, reflective of this amazing industry. You were talking about dreaming, seeing photos of E3 and dreaming about going there one day. I was the same guy, looking at it. Before I even worked in this job, I managed to find a couple ways to sneak in a couple of years on my own. And now I'm a guy who gets to sort of, sit there and talk about it and help put it together. It's a dream come true. And trust me, I'm not going to let anything happen to my dream. So we're going to take good care of this show and make it as awesome as always. But, that's one of those things. It's like, the flowers start to bloom, the swallows go back to Capistrano, and people start asking, is E3 dead? The three things that happen this time of year that I can tell. Pitchers and catchers report to spring training too. And other than that, I just feel, we're going to be great. It's going to be a great show.
Yeah, definitely. And my last thing too, Rich, please do not take it to the days of the Santa Monica E3. That was like,
oh no,
it was
no hotel meeting rooms, please.
Don't do what? What'd you say?
Don't do the E3 Santa Monica days. Remember those that year?
Oh yeah. I think I'm pleased to say that was before I came. I could point backwards and say not me on that one, but that was the thing that seemed right at the time. And now we're in a different place, a better place, which is a perfect example of how E3 adapts right there.
Right there, man. All right, Rich, but thanks. And for more information about ESA, where the best website for people to go?
Well, just go to search up ESA.com and check us out. It's Entertainment Software Association. Just pop it in your browser and you'll get us. And let us know what you think.
Definitely, man. All right, Rich, but thanks a lot, man, for the interview.
All right, appreciate it. Nice talking to you guys. You guys have a great day. Look forward to seeing you around the way.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
All right, Possum, man, your thoughts, man. That was a great Great interview, right? I had a blast interviewing Rich.
Really like talking to Rich. I didn't expect him to be so just like casual and talking like one of the guys. I expected kind of like more a suit traditional Q&A response, but he was cool. I love the part where he said he was as passionate about E3 as other people have in the past, like me. I'm looking from the outside perspective. Finally get inside and you realize how cooler this is to be a part of than it is to watch from the outside. So I like that he was open to the fact. Yes, that the community definitely drives this whole conversation. We exist as that buffer to get the message to the consumers out there. But again, with the YouTube, with the Twitch, those walls have been coming down every year. It's becoming basically a direct line from the developer to the consumer. And we're more there just to basically have opinions, be critics of these things. So it's interesting how we've transitioned so much from the days when, basically it was only invite only. You could only be in from a magazine or a major website. And now there's more and more people every year. And again, like I've said on the interview, I just love being there and seeing all those faces that light up in joy. Like, it's like taking a kid to Disneyland for the first time when you see someone's first reaction to being in E3, the spectacle it is. And I think that's important. I think that definitely has a place in our industry long term. I'm just curious to know how they'll react to the changing mediums. We're getting so much more into every user matters now. It's no longer that, angry vocal majority on the internet that drives conversation. It's everybody now has a place at the table of this conversation. We're all part of this transition into what gaming is going to be 5-10 years down the road, but it's an exciting ride. I guess the thing I'm most excited for E3 this year, and I've said this in the past, but the VR I think is definitely going to be killer this year, because Rich even name dropped that the VR was going to be part of the experience. Like a lot of companies are going to be on top of that this year. There's going to be a lot more space.
Yes.
Obviously, he wouldn't comment very much on what they're going to do with electronics art space. That's still under wraps. But I can imagine now there's more room for smaller companies to shine. Maybe they don't have to be, restricted to, like you said, the smaller indie arcade section, which is off one of the main hallways. So it's interesting. I really want to know what they're going to have to show. So for me, this is probably the E3 I'm most excited about, because there's so many questions up in the air. There's so many things we don't know yet. And again, nothing's been leaked or spoiled so far. So fingers crossed that stays the same. Yeah. Because I'd like to have some seriously big announcements. Please, I don't want to be standing in line and people are spoiling things through Twitter on me while I'm waiting to get in. I hate that. Let's just get in there, see what they have to show us, and then we can go back out and tell the whole world of hey man, look, this is what they're doing right, this is what they're doing wrong, this is what needs work. But it's exciting. It was a great chance to talk to Rich about the future of ESA, and he's got a damn cool job, I gotta say. So I wish him the best of luck of setting up this year's 3, and I hope it's a phenomenal success.
Yeah, definitely. I think that asking these questions now. I know they're going to make the change. They have to make the change. They can't keep it the same. If you notice that, throughout the years of E3, like he said, they made changes based on feedback, and I feel that us as fans, the community, even people that as part of the industry, by giving them, feedback, they will eventually make changes. I feel that, like I told them, I think it would be great to have one day open to the public, have a couple of days for the media and retailers. And, by doing that, it's going to help E3, by just keeping it private, media only. Sorry, that's old media. New media has been dominating now with the whole YouTube, podcasting, everything. And they need to make those changes, So that's good. That's good that I asked that question about it to Rich, so... Yep. But we're going to end it up right now. And once we come back, we're going to continue with our short discussion here at Gamertag Radio, episode 550. We'll be right back.
This is Gamertag Radio. Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
All right, so that was our interview with Rich. Wow, shout out to the whole ESA. They're ready. They're ready for E3 2016, and so was a great interview, man.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. I hope you guys ready, because I'm ready to kick some booty over there, man. Gotta get a lot of content.
Hell yeah,
for GTR this year, man. Can't wait for that, man. So please send us your feedback and everything. About the interview. Let us know on Twitter, social media, and also give us a call, 786-273-7GTR, or email us fanmail@gamertagradio.com. And yes, you could get us this content, all our past episodes, gamertagradio.com, or play.it/gamertag. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio. And remember to take a very short survey. Might take like a good 3 minutes or so. Go to playitsurvey.com, playitsurvey.com, and it will help us big time. And I mean, that's about it from me. What about you guys? Anything else?
I got one thing to bring up, and this goes to the last episode, since I wasn't there and I couldn't say it then.
Okay.
When you guys were talking about the division and stuff, and Pete and all that was bringing up, asking you about the 30-day thing, let's see what it is now. So again, I went on Twitter and I basically kind of echoed the same thing, and people got mad at me going, well, why can't you just enjoy a game that's getting great reviews now for what it is? Why do you got to worry about the future? The reason I said that is because a game like The Division, a game like Destiny, a game even like Halo or Call of Duty or Borderlands or something like that, a game that's going to have a long lifespan, you got to look long term. Yeah, it's the new hotness right now. Everyone loves it today. What are people going to say a month from now? What are people going to say when they get to level 30 and they've been in the dark zone, for 8 hours every day for the past month? What are they going to say then? Where's the content? Again, as much as we've talked about Destiny and those type of games on the show, Bungie suffered the same issue of content. At some point, you're just repeating the same content over and over. You're having the same type of scenarios in the dark zone over and over. You're being betrayed. You know what I mean? It gets to be repetitive, and that's a part of it having MMO roots. I get that. I understand that. My whole point is, for the average gamer that does not understand that, are they still going to have the same level of excitement a month from now, 2 months from now? Is the announced content that we know is coming, will it get here in a timely enough manner to keep people satisfied? Which, by the way, I have to correct Danny on something. Bungie did lay out all their content for year one ahead of time. We knew what it was. It's year two where they're keeping everything secret and we don't know what the frick is going on.
There was a lot of secret stuff though on like when Destiny came out too, Paris. Like they did mention it throughout the.
Well, you had to buy. You bought the expansion pass. You knew what was coming, and they did bring all that in year. That's my point. Just like Division has laid out year one what you're getting, Bungie did do the same exact thing. Look, I'm not saying it was perfect. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to make an excuse for them. I'm just saying they didn't hide content. They weren't saying, well, they weren't telling us. They delayed things, of course, but they did tell us up front, you're going to get these 2 expansion packs in the first year, which they did deliver on. And obviously the Division's doing the same thing with their stuff. Look, I've not played the Division, so I cannot comment if it's a great game, bad game, anything, right? Because I've not played it yet. It is literally still sitting in the wrapper looking at me. But from everything that I've heard, everyone is absolutely loving it. You don't even need to go into the dark zone to love that game, which is fine. My only issue, and it still stands because we just simply won't know until time passes, will be in-game content down the road. And that's it. I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it. And I'm probably going to have fun with it. I'm not hating the game, you're man that has a rock for a name. But But I just I'll say this. No, hold on real quick. Let me say this last thing. Actually it's because I played Destiny to death, over and over again and sunk so many hours into it that I'm hesitant to give that same commitment to another game unless I feel like I know I'm going to get my money's worth out of it. That's all. Yeah. That's my only thing.
Paris, you know me, dude. I'm very picky with certain games, and people might say that I might spend like a certain amount of time for a certain game, then move on to the next one. The thing is, Paris, like I don't feel that pressure that I got from Destiny. Like when you guys were at level 30 or 20 something in Destiny, I'm like level 10. I'm oh my God. I feel pressured,
to catch up.
Forced to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. I'm not getting that vibe with the Division. Like I could go on whenever. Yeah, I could go to Dark Zone and have a great time. Pawson, tell them the story what happened yesterday with us playing Dark Zone. It was one of those amazing moments I haven't had in a very long time, man.
mean, that's
so much fun.
That's the beauty of like those organic moments that happen. You have that MMO type of environment, and people don't know what the Dark Zone is essentially the one part of the division where it removes a lot of the HUD elements that help you tell you where things are, where to go, and more importantly, it doesn't really light up what people are. It gives them a name, a number, and it's up to you whether to decide whether or not they're a threat to you. And, when you shoot people, obviously you get marked, kind of like GTA Online. The more people you kill, the longer you survive, the more points you get. Everyone comes to try to kill you. So we had a great experience of just like being a 4-man team. And when you have buddies watching your back, you're pretty much unstoppable and unkillable if you play smart. So you can kind of like, run around this little gang and, fight the enemy AI, fight bosses, get good loot. And you have to, of course, go to the extraction zone and call for the extraction of the helicopter. And, of course, summons everyone else in the area to come check out to see if you're weak enough for them to kill you. And, you kill them, take their stuff. I mean, it's just a really cool experience. And it's always different every time. One of the things I really like, too, is if you're not in a party chat, if you just use the game's in-game voice communication system, you have that proximity chat when you walk up to people. You can just have that natural, cool conversation with them of explaining like, oh, hey, I'm not a threat to you. You don't have to worry about me. Or you can make new friends. That's what he
said to you, right?
Yeah.
One of the guys that you met?
Yeah, he was like, hey, it's cool. Don't shoot, man. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, all right. You're good. Don't worry about it. But like, you can go in sometimes solo and you see if you can make friends. Maybe there's a 3-man team and you need a 4th guy. You just walk up to and talk to them. Naturally have a conversation, they invite you to the group, and then you're moving together as a little squad. I really like it a lot. It's easy to play, easy to pick up and learn, and then of course you have that ultimate skill ceiling of even if you're like the highest level, you still got to have the better gear, the better reflexes, and hopefully work better as a squad than the other team, and you'll always come out on top. So yeah, it's a cool little PvP experience. People should definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's so much fun, man. So Pete, anything else before we wrap it up? Because we took so long here.
Blasted through our allotted time here, so I'm okay. But I think by the next show we should be ready to do a full-on review of The Division from Tom.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it should be a safe bet for us to do that at that time.
Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah, I know people are clamoring for our opinions. I know, and hopefully Paris will be able to be on hand for his counterpoints because I know he will have some.
Yeah. Okay.
If he's even played by then, because it's still sealed. According to Twitter, it's still sealed. So
yeah, it is. What is it? Is it hate? Paris, is it hate out of 8?
Yeah, it's hate out of 8, man. No, here's the thing. It's a 3-pronged issue right now. Number one, I've just been super busy. I just started this new job. My time has been very limited to play anything. I've really not played anything here in the last couple weeks. Number 2, it's on Xbox, and I would rather play it on PC. And number 3, it's on Xbox, and I would have to actually connect my Xbox again, and I don't want to. So there you go.
You know why he doesn't want me to win? That's why. Because I told him, you're going to connect that back. Just give it some time. And Paris like, no, it happened.
You know what the sad thing is? I'm looking at it right now because it's sitting here in my office, disconnected, with a copy of the Uncharted collection sitting on top of it. So PlayStation wins again.
Oh, that is so cold. So cold. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. Until next time, we're out. Peace.
You're listening to Gamer Tag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks for listening. Tune in next week.